Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel and to this latest episode of our What You Wearing series. So we have received some questions from some of our viewers that, we actually have never introduced ourselves, our club, in our YouTube channel. So we thought we'd take this chance to, do a video about that. So, to start off with, I'm Helbert.
I'm Carlos.
And I'm Jonathan.
Yeah, and we co-founded the Horology Club around 1.5 years ago in September 2021.
2021, yes.
Yeah.
2021. Yeah.
Time flies.
Time flies.
Yeah, indeed.
I guess I would say I'm a novice. Is that the right word? Novice in watch collecting.
I wouldn't call you a
novice.
I only got into watches in relatively recent, in 2018, when I got married. Like a lot of Asian tradition, you get a watch for yourself as your marriage present for yourself, I guess. That's how I got my first one. It was an engineer, an IWC engineer. So my story is, at the time, like a lot of people, I really liked the gentle design. Couldn't afford one at the time. So as I read about it, the more I read, the more I noticed Gentle's artwork, and the engineer really caught my eye. So that's how I got into watches. I guess I have a taste in smaller watches in general. So yeah.
Smaller,
dressier pieces became.
For me, I've been into watches for well over 10 years now, and my taste has definitely evolved over time. I think in the beginning, I was a lot more into like sportier pieces. But nowadays, I think I look for anything that's a bit uncommon, a bit quirky, looking a bit weird, right? So I like anything from Uwerk to very weird Cartiers, from the 60s. So I would say I have a quite eclectic taste, but I like to look for something that's a little bit more special.
But yeah, for me, I've been into watches for about 6-7 years now. Obviously, Helbert will know this because Helbert was the first one who introduced me into watches. Just one day
got you into this mess.
Got me into this mess. I blame him. But yeah, my taste is nowadays. I like to appreciate everything. I think as a watch lover, we should appreciate different styles of watches, different price points of watches. So yeah, I wouldn't really have pigeonholed myself into anything. I just like things that look nice. And we started off just the three of us, just looking for a place to chat watches. Didn't have any other friends who did it, so yeah,
no one's at home to talk to.
No
at the time.
Yeah, wives, friends.
Your wife's like, shut up about watches.
Stop talking about watches. Yeah. So yeah, we just started an Instagram account and booked a cigar bar and publicized it, and thought, oh, let's just see how many people are going to show up. And turns out there's quite a few friends here in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think part of it is that, we failed to find like an open community in Hong Kong. A lot of them are like closed friend groups where, you're required to know someone inside the group in order to be able to join. But, we wanted to start this because we wanted to build an open and inclusive community that welcomes collectors of, all niches and focuses.
So after our first event, we regularly held events going from 25 to 35 to 45, 55, and recently we've almost hit 100 attendees at our latest events. Besides from organizing get-togethers every couple months, 2-3 months, we also do brand events. So we cooperate with brands where we showcase new releases. Could be a demonstration of certain mechanism with their watches.
Yeah, and one of the other things that we like to do is to brings attention to smaller or lesser known brands or watchmakers that we like. Everyone knows about Audemars Piguet, Rolex, Patek Philippe, but there are lots of nice stuff out there that people don't really know about, and we want to bring attention to watchmakers like them.
Yeah, and I think part of that stems from the fact that we are not just a community, even though, club is very much in our name, and we'd love to showcase some of the brands that we are very interested in, some of the independent watchmakers that we think are doing great work. And we like to do that, through, say, video content like this on YouTube, and also our collaboration projects with different brands. Yeah.
And one side project, I guess you could say, is that on our website, we help our fellow collectors to consign watches so that they can easily move on to the next watch that they want to buy. I guess that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, we understand that selling is also part of the collecting journey as well, and it's not just always about buying watches. And currently we don't charge our members for consignment, so we also encourage them to list their watches at a more attractive price. So it represents a genuine deal for both our members or other potential buyers around the world. As part of the origin of the club, I guess, we started working on this as our very first collab project, which is our special edition of the Habring Irwin, the watch with the deadbeat seconds.
It's one of the reasons that why we founded the club in the first place, because we wanted to, when Habring asked us what do we want to write on the back of the case, we didn't know, we didn't have a name, so we founded the Horology Club.
So it was initially just the idea of creating such a watch was a bunch of friends wanting to commemorate our friendship. It's known each other for quite a while, and we wanted something that we could wear on our wrist and remind ourselves of our friendship. So we just thought, why don't we design a watch together? These things are about memories. Actually, before we decided on the Habring, Halbert, you were the one who introduced me to the brand. So what actually attracted you to this brand in the first place?
Well, I think for me, one of the complications that I've always wanted to have is a deadbeat seconds watch. And there's something so romantic about having a mechanical watch that has a seconds hand that ticks like a quartz watch, right? In a way, it's the ultimate stealth watch, because anyone else who doesn't see the back will assume that you're wearing a quartz watch. I guess it's just something really geeky that just, watch geeks like. I'm also a big fan of IWC, and as we all know, Richard Habring pretty much made his name in the 90s working for IWC, inventing different complications for them, like the split-second chronograph. And then in early 2000s, he started his own brand, Habring too, with his wife Maria, and the jumping seconds is pretty much one of their signature models in the current lineup right now. So I thought this would be the perfect base for our first collab project.
So what I like most about the watch is actually the concave bezel. For me personally, I like smaller watches, so this concave bezel helps brings the volume down a little bit, in my opinion. And then the second thing that I like the most is probably the deadbeat second mechanism. As Halbert says, it's got this romance to it. No one knows what this watch is unless you're a really geeky watch nerd.
Yeah. I
think that's pretty cool.
I think the deadbeat seconds, you can also see it at the back, right, where you can see the wheel in the center just jumping
exactly,
per second.
And personally for me, one of my favorite characteristics of this watch is actually the different types of texture that you see on the different sections of the dial. So in the center, you have the vertical brushing. On the sector dial, there's actually quite unnoticeable kind of azurage, like concentric azurage. And then moving on to the outer rings on the railway track, then you see also circular brushing once again. So the mixture of the different textures actually quite shows his attention to detail.
Yeah, and also the polished brigade numerals in the hands as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The concentric circles are very hard to notice unless you actually look at it through the loop. There's attention to details, I think is pretty amazing.
And I think in the design, what we try to do is actually pay tribute to some of the really old, 1930s Patek Calatraves, with the brigade numerals. I thought this would give it a really classic look, but at the same time, we want to give it a modern twist, and we do this by giving it an olive sector in the dial, and I think it just looks really good, especially with the strap.
And the pants.
And the pants.
So the watch itself actually came on a grey calf strap, which was in our original drawing of the watch, but I see today we actually all have put our very different spins on the watch itself with the straps that we've chosen.
Well, why don't we swap watches and then we all give a bit of feedback on your choice. I see you put this on this kind of suede-like green olive green strap, matching the dial. Personally, for me, I think that's too much green. I think it's too much. You know,
I'd say the same for this one. So Carlos put it on a green rubber strap, which makes it more useful in the summer, I guess. Because this
Exactly.
watch is actually waterproof to like 50 meters, right? So technically,
Technically, yeah.
yeah, but it doesn't have a screw down crown.
Make it a little bit more sporty, I guess.
Yeah, makes it a little
With
bit
a
more
sporty spin on it.
sporty, dressy.
Yeah.
I like the color of this. Is it Alcantara, right?
Alcantara. Yeah.
Alcantara in cream color
Yeah.
matches the inner dial. But what I don't get is the orange stitching on it. It just looks a little bit odd.
You should give
Compared
it
to the rest of the
olive
watch.
stitching, right?
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. It wasn't intended for this watch actually.
Oh,
But
okay.
I just thought it looked good, so yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So I think this being our first club piece with a project that sort of predated the founding of our club, right? Naturally, it was quite limited, and a lot of people have expressed to us that they're very disappointed that they can't get their hands on this, and we completely understand that, and we, really didn't expect the immense response that we've been getting for this watch. But going forward, we will have more club projects going. We have a few watches coming out towards the end of this year. So hopefully, we can share the news of that with all of you soon.
Yeah, so as we try to be open and inclusive, there's no requirement with recommendations, referrals. If you just want to join, everyone's welcome to join our events. What you have to do is come to our website, sign up for a free account.
Sign up to the newsletter,
Sign up to
get
the newsletter.
notified about the future events.
Yep.
So keep an eye on our website, thehorologyclub.com. On our Instagram at the.horology.club, or our YouTube channel here if you want to find out more about future news about the club and what we're doing.